All right, let's be real. The greatest accomplishment this movie does is give us that amazing theme song.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will. So for today's retro review, I am taking a look at one of the granddaddy of the video game movie franchise. Today we are going to review Mortal Kombat 1995. The Mortal Kombat. So, Mortal Kombat was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and primarily uses elements and all of the characters from the very first Mortal Kombat video game. The story primarily focuses on Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade, who are competing in the Mortal Kombat tournament. In the movie, the tournament is what keeps various realms from attacking each other, and in the timeline of the movie, Outworld, who are led by Shao Kahn and the Sorcerer Supreme, so to speak, of Shang Tsung, they have won 9 of the 10 Mortal Kombats needed in order to invade Earthrealm. In order to stop them, Liu Kang has to fulfill his destiny and win Mortal Kombat to protect the Earth from the villainous Outworld. So, yeah, that's basically the idea of the movie. It closely does follow the first video game in terms of the characters that it uses. I believe every character from that very first game are featured in the movie in various degrees of execution. Liu Kang is played by Robin Shou, and he is trying to avenge the death of his brother who competed in the previous tournament, even though the timelines get kind of weird in this movie. I really do like Mortal Kombat the movie. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's one of those that I can just pop in and just enjoy. And the acting, I will say the acting is acceptable in terms of most movies, especially around this time. The video game movie genre has struggled, and it wasn't until most recently that we're really starting to see some of these movies actually be held in higher regard besides the people who really enjoy the franchise that they are interpreting. In terms of the action of the movie, I really do like the fights in the movie. The fights are very heavily choreographed, and you can kind of tell most of the non-masked actors don't really know a lot of martial arts, but they know enough to get by. In terms of Robin Shou does a lot of his own stunts in the movies. He actually got hurt on set, according to an interview he had a couple years ago for the anniversary of the Mortal Kombat movie. And but most of the other actors, they be able to do cartwheels, flips, and kicks and stuff like that. That's the best that you can do. Christopher Lambert, who most people will know from the Highlander franchise, he plays Raiden in the movie. I would say he probably knows the movie he's in more than everyone else. You can tell just by the way he's portraying Raiden. He's very jovial, and he's just having a good time with the movie. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, who is very well known, he portrays Shang Tsung, and he's probably the strongest actor in the movie in terms of performance. You just love to hate Shang Tsung. He's so charismatic, but he's evil, and he just commands the scene when he's in it, and I really enjoy that about him. And even he's made such a huge impact on the franchise that the most recent incarnations of the Mortal Kombat games that brought Shang Tsung back, they use his likeness as the character. He is that character now, which is really cool. In terms of the fights in the movie, I really enjoyed Johnny Cage versus Scorpion. I think of all of the set pieces in the movie, they use their element the best. And it kind of is the one that reminds me most of the video game itself. And also, I really enjoyed the last fight between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung. It's just a good culmination for the rest of the movie as a whole. They do set up for a sequel that we do eventually get, and it's not a great sequel, but it's nice to kind of see this in kind of its own bubble as a solid attempt at a video game movie. There were a lot of changes to the actual elements of the gameplay. Obviously, there's no real blood in the movie because I believe it's rated PG-13. But the other elements of the game actually make it in, like the spike pits. You have Goro being one of the final bosses. There's a lot of liberties that they do take with the movie as a whole. The dialogue is not great. There's a ton of exposition. but it's for someone who's not familiar with the game franchise to kind of get into the movie. But you can tell there are elements where there's just the dialogue is just there just to explain stuff for the audience, and it's not necessarily handled in a subtle way. Overall, I really do like Mortal Kombat the movie. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. There's a lot of things that it does right, but then there's a lot of things that if you really stop and think about it, you're going to be left with so many questions. Questions like, how did Johnny Cage get out of that weird dungeon after beating Scorpion? What are the actual brackets of the tournament? Was Katana disqualified for talking to Liu Kang during the match? Was it an actual match? When Goro, who was the tournament reigning champion, finally fights, how was he able to fight all of those guys and just throw them out of the way? How did Art get a shot against him? Did anyone really think he would win? Did no one before Johnny Cage think of punching Goro in the nuts?
Damn, I'm hurt.
How does Liu Kang keep his hair so luxurious?
The rules are quite clear.
Are the rules really quite clear? Does Johnny Cage have the best one-liners?
Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole. This is where you fall down.
Why does Katana always have a flute play when she appears on screen? With all those questions aside, I really do enjoy Mortal Kombat the movie. I think it's a fun, quick hour and 40-minute movie. It's good if you know the story just to kind of laugh at it. It's not gonna win any Oscars or any awards, but I think they did the best job that they could with the time that they had and the budget that they had. I know they are doing a reboot of the Mortal Kombat movie. It's going to be a lot closer to what the video game is. It's going to be a lot more violent. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that take on it. This one, for me, just kind of sits there as a reminder of where video game movies were and where they are hopefully going to be more held in higher regard. Kind of similar to how comic book movies evolved over the last 10, 20 years from the very first comic book movies coming out in the late 80s or early 90s to what we're getting with stuff like the MCU and the DC movies and all of the independent movies as well. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. It doesn't nearly make my eyes roll as much as, say, something like Street Fighter does. But I'll say Mortal Kombat the movie is a fun watch, and probably in regards for a video game movie, it stays closer to the subject matter than a lot of other video game movies that came out at the time. So, Mortal Kombat the movie, have you had a chance to see it? If you have seen it, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. If you haven't seen it, would you check it out? I'm sure someone has mentioned it to you in the past. So thank you so much for watching this and all of my videos. I really do appreciate it. I've got some other videos coming up. I've got a ton of videos on the channel that you can check out right now. You can follow me on all the social medias listed at the end of the video, but at TheGeekWill, by all means, I'd love to hear from you. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.